Welcome to the ECO2 Smart Schools Climate Conference.
One of the key things to do here is to really reduce our own emissions, because that is the best thing we can do, to help those children in those countries, to help the world. A lot of the global emissions come from communities like ours.
Okay, that's a great question. Antarctica holds most of the world's ice. So if all of Antarctica melted, it would actually raise global sea level by 58 meters. So 58 meters would dramatically change the coastlines around the world. The good news is that we don't think that's going to happen imminently.
Climate change is already affecting the world. We shouldn't forget that. It's not just something that's happening in the future, and it's not affecting the world equally. In fact, it is hitting those worst who are already more vulnerable. And that is true between countries, but also within countries. So if we think about heat waves, for example, most vulnerable parts of the population are those over 65 or those with underlying health conditions, but also children. And then there are other countries where we already see they're more affected by food insecurity, by droughts, by heavy precipitation. So a lot of rain, which then leads to landslides because the earth can't absorb all this water. We've seen that this year, actually. So generally, I think it is true to say that those who are already vulnerable for other reasons are also more vulnerable to climate change.
I think electric vehicles, of course, are absolutely fantastic. They have no emissions coming out of the tailpipe in the same way that vehicles on fossil fuels do. So they're much cleaner. They have a much cleaner life cycle. However, in the longer term, they're definitely part of the solution, but are they the entire solution? I suspect, and I know I've got some much more knowledgeable scientists in the room with me, but I suspect there will be different technologies, newer technologies coming through. And eventually, over decades, we will see that electric vehicles were a transition, a really good idea for where we are now, but a transition into something else in the future.
There are some really committed, passionate people there who want to make a difference. There are also some people who are very greedy and selfish and want to carry on the way they always have done. And let's carry on selling things and making money and using oil and coal and gas because that's easy and it's nice. Will it make a difference? Yes, it will. How much difference will it make? I don't know. But the most important thing, and as David Staddington already said, is keep shouting, keep making a noise. If every one of us in this room, in this event, and every one of us around the world keeps shouting about climate change, people have to take notice and they have to do something about it.
And the winner, I'm delighted to say, is Jake Dawson, Year 5 Esh winning, so like primary school. In my intro, I sort of highlighted Because sometimes photographs don't have to be great big vistas and they're the wonderful sort of like captures. They can be small, powerful and symbolic. And this one grabbed both myself and Brian.
We're going to switch the screen to a little Wordle that we produced using pledges that you created in the work that's been leading up to this event. And we're just going to announce some of the pledges that we've been reading during this conference. So I'd like to start with Maisie, who is going to pass on all her old toys and clothes.
And we've got one from Noah from El Salvador, who's going to go to school on their skateboard.
We've got somebody from West Germany who is going to eat more vegetarian food.
And we've got someone who's going to keep on demonstrating at Fridays for Future.